Hello everybody and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 14, Week 1, Bean 10, Untitled London Team, Game 2. Last time, Night Stalker and Clinks and Juggernaut and the GGs didn't really have a response to that. This time let's see if things change. Immediately the GGs starting off with an Enigma ban. Once again, you can see where the respect in the team is going. They do not like the idea of godlike Matt's existence. Bean 10 does not like the idea of London's existence in kind. I do think if you're facing this Untitled London team, it's definitely better to fling the bans at London and Vex. Kai will play anything. Kai's good with matchups, usually. He will pick something that he wants to pick, no matter what. You get rid of the worst things you could possibly see, but for the most part, you don't want to ban him too much. Starting out immediately with a Void ban, that's very interesting. I wonder what that's all about.
Ten seconds remaining.
I promise this is the second game, by the way. By the way, I know you wouldn't have been able to figure it out so far, but I'm back here again with... I almost called you by your former name, the Ohio Turnpike.
You called me that in the last game, but that's
God
okay.
damn it!
Yeah, I'm your boy, Ohio Turnpike. Some people call me JFK. I honestly don't give a damn.
Yeah, you're gonna be called JFK because that's like a person name, not a place name.
Yeah, you can call me that. You can call me JFK. Call me Turnpike.
You can call me Knuckles
if you're close enough.
Please do not call JFK the N-word in the comments section of this video. He probably doesn't know you.
Only do that. Only do that like if we're communicating face to face or on Discord or something.
This has to be.
Might be a little picky about who does it.
This has to be the most racially diverse Dota 2 cast in history. I'm pretty sure, legitimately, I'm pretty sure the only white people who have ever been on are like me, Randy, Ocelot, Katie, and CombinationBean. I guess Matt as well. And I think that's almost it.
Impressive.
It's just like the old
yeah, this is pretty diverse by Dota standards.
Yeah, that's true. The GGs want somebody who flaps. Well, Bean 10's gonna take somebody who flaps, by God. Phoenix picking up here. Phoenix, like I said before, is a hero where there's a lot of places on this specific version of this lineup it can go. Bane's a strong support pick.
Ooh, Bane, okay. Don't see a lot of Banes, at least in my experience.
Here in MMR, you're probably not going to see a lot of Banes. I think Bane is generally an underrated hero. I know the BKB isn't as scary as it was in the last patch. Immediately coming out with a Snapfire. It's very interesting. Going to be something I'm going to be mentioning after the game. It's not really a Snapfire player on that GG's lineup. They're just definitely looking to counter that Phoenix. I can tell you this much, right? Because Snapfire's little shredder abilities can just instantly kill Phoenix's Sun ult, right?
Right.
There's definitely going to have to be something to be said for actually getting the Snapfire there. Bane's got some long cast range, and if Snapfire's snoozing, soon her whole team's going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna, yeah, it'll take, it's... Once she gets to that point, it's going to be a problem, but it's also going to be a problem for her to get there.
Bean is definitely going to be thrilled, as there has been a Juggernaut ban this game. There actually looks like they're going for all the classic bans this time around. No Juggernaut repeat, no Clinks repeat. They do not like that lineup that they had in Game 1. I can tell you this much, I do feel like the Phoenix could use a little more protection. It would be nice to see godlike Matt on somebody who can protect the Phoenix, or in contrast, it would be nice to see somebody on the GGs who's going to be able to take or break the Nightmare off of Snapfire without, like, killing themselves. No Ursa. Not a bad idea. We've seen recently what happens when Bane goes against Ursa. It doesn't work. Tusk knocked out as well. Are they just daring Matt to pick Night Stalker or what?
Yeah.
They have banned 3 of the 5 heroes from the last game and picked one of the other ones. Come on, Matt, just do it again.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Thinking over this ban here. You know, oh, getting rid of the Medusa. No Medusa here. They want to put Kai into that situation, or you get where he's going to be a little bit more predictable. You know, you're not a Dota player.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell this to you now, right?
5 seconds remaining.
The Snapfire lizard thing's tongue, I think, is huge.
Yeah, it looks huge.
And the whole model is very, very big for pick phase, so everything clips into it. She's not really that big in the game. Like in the game,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, like that model is fairly normal sized in game.
yeah, the magic of pick phase. Also, you can't see because there was things leaking inside out. The Wraith King's coming out here.
Oh god.
I don't like this as a Wraith King game so far.
Yeah,
I
that
really
seems
don't.
like a sus pick.
The Snapfire is like engaged in team fights too long for the Wraith King to just be able to safely reincarnate out. And it's so early too! You definitely could have picked Matt here. Like, this is already kind of a suspect Wraith King game, and I feel like it's about to get a lot worse.
Yeah, this one's gonna be unfortunate. That was definitely a sus pick.
Oh, especially with the... It has to be a Pos 5 Phoenix. If it's not a Pos 5 Phoenix, it's gonna really suck to be Wraith King in this lane. You do not want to be Wraith King against a Snapfire. It's definitely one of the heroes on the I beat up Wraith King list.
The horn of Magnus.
Though, ironically, Magnus just made Wraith King a lot better, so I don't know.
This is gonna be a weird one.
In direct contrast to the Snapfire, and to a degree the Wyvern, Magnus is a really bad hero against Wraith King.
Yeah.
5
Just,
seconds remaining.
I learned that the first time I tried Magnus. That wasn't fun.
Pulls his team to a lot of disasters here.
I have a microphone that I can flip up to mute myself.
I wonder why you just randomly started talking about that on the cast.
Radiant team pick.
Face the light.
Well then.
Facing the light with a Dawnbreaker. Ah.
A pick after my own heart.
I was spoiled on one of the picks of this game, and I cannot wait to flame it. I did not know it was so late. I thought the pick that I'm about to just completely ream was picked pretty early.
Oh, I can't wait to see what this is.
5 seconds remaining.
Gonna think about it a little bit here. Maybe overthinking it, I don't know. Don't have a US Danny hero yet. Don't have a guy like Matt here yet. They're the last two. Likely that's going to be how most Bean 10 pick phases are ending. Two, 51, 50, 49, 48.
Dire team ban.
Nope, it's actually their last pick. Okay. We got OD here.
Hey, Outworld, not a bad pick.
Deals with the snap, protects the Phoenix.
Yeah.
But like, jails people who are in the Wyvernal. Only one problem with the Outworld Devour this game. There's just so goddamn much that can just break through and kill him. So I think this is ultimately not a good
fair.
OD game. Like, OD is another hero. Funnily enough, like Clink's last game, this is almost certainly going to be our US Danny hero again. Actually, I know it's going to be our US Danny hero, because I know what Matt picked. But, OD is another very glass cannon type hero. Dawnbreaker can literally just come down from heaven and kill him if he's a problem. Magnus can blink through, kill him. Snapfire can drop artillery on his head, and if he's ever the target of a Wyvern ult, you can basically guarantee that he's dead. He also is a hero where you kind of need a very close formation. Like, you need all your friends to be kind of nearby to take advantage of your ball, to like, force the enemy to group up to take your ult, and that's not how you want to play with London and Snapfire on that enemy, Dawnbreaker, and Wyvern on that enemy team. Yeah, so this game, don't like this OD. Not the worst pick in the world, but not good. And certainly not as bad as the last pick in this game is going to be. The last pick in this game is going to drive me crazy. I wonder what the GGs are going to pick here. I know one pick in this entire game. In this entire series, actually. It's the only one I knew coming into this. Because he publicly talked about it. It's going to be our Kai hero. Here for the GGs. Going to be their pause 1. I do think Kai actually has a lot of freedom here. I think, funnily enough, Bean 10 played the arms race with Phoenix, trying to protect the sun, trying to build around the sun. The GGs has kind of just picked 4 heroes so far that don't care at all about Phoenix. They're just not going to be positioning himself by that.
Yeah, they kind of just don't. Phoenix just kind of exists in their general vicinity.
Right. Phoenix still has abilities outside of that. Okay, well, yeah, Phoenix is just completely dead. Okay, and yeah, this is also...
Rip Phoenix.
This is also just another great reason, though in fairness, only in lane phase. It's not a bad reason after lane phase for this last pick.
Yeah.
But, you know, in lane phase at least, whoever this guy is going to be totally bodied if Kai is smart enough to either position himself really well or get a gust point early. Let's see who it is. Who's going to make me grind my teeth today? Interesting getting rid of the Shadow Shaman there. Thinking Matt might be playing the Phoenix. She better not be, bro. Like, this would be a bad, bad game for Matt Phoenix. I have not read the, Yep! It's Mars!
Mars?
Okay, let me tell you how bad this Mars pick is. Are you ready?
Mars?
Let me give you...
Really?
Yeah. So, Winter Wyvern counters Mars pretty heavily.
Yeah.
If you arena, everybody goes in the arena to jump on somebody, Winter Wyvern hits ult, and your arena is over. If you hit arena, everyone goes in the arena to kill somebody, Snapfire ults, and it's over. Magnus ults, and it's over.
Dawnbreaker ults, and it's over.
Dawnbreaker ults, and it's over. Or Drow Ranger just gusts you and you never get it off to begin with.
Why?
This is a horrific Mars game. And his team doesn't really get any benefit out of it, except that it protects the sun. There is definitely way too much stake, way too much thought in the Phoenix's game.
Yeah, it feels like they built their team comp around the Phoenix, despite the fact that they're, you know, in a game where Phoenix is just kind of being invalidated.
Right. They definitely could have just let Phoenix kind of be, just let him exist, and just built on other things, and just... Like I said, you know, they had the Snapfire, they never really got anything else. The Drow's pretty bad as well. But really, the only, like, horrific game ender for Phoenix here is the Snapfire, and that's already pretty well answered by the Bane if you want to go for it. They kind of just dropped, like, a bunch of heroes for it. I don't know. I don't like it. I feel like US Danny is going to be way too pigeonholed into trying to save people out of, like, Wyvern ults, and nobody's going to die in an arena. Like, the arenas that Mars is going to put down are going to be more dangerous to his own team than to the enemies, basically. Like, the lure of let's go in the arena and get a kill is going to get people killed.
That is such a, yeah, that is just such a sus pick.
For battle.
Overall, I do not like this comp for, I do not like this comp for this lineup. Just,
yeah.
This is misappropriated investment right here. They're playing an imaginary war.
Hey, it's just like America.
Your king thanks you. On the other hand, what do I think of this GG's lineup? I don't think it's great. I think the Drow here is a very good pick. I think for their last pick, it was definitely good. Mars being picked last kind of made it even better, because like I said, Drow not great into Mars, like, later in the game. You know, she's definitely going to be vulnerable to Arena if it's not countered out at any given point.
Yeah.
She's not going to want to get, like, speared to a tree. That's always going to suck.
To battle.
TikTok.
So what if I swagger?
But aside from that specifically, there's nothing she's really afraid of. She's gonna kill OD if he thinks about her. Gonna be able to gust out Phoenix a lot, and it's just not something that Wraith King really wants to deal with. He got Bane for it, but Bane's gonna have so many jobs this game that you can't really say, like, much for that. The Snapfire, I think, was a really good pick. I think, unlike last game where Bliss was basically playing Clay Pigeon, this game, I think Bliss is going to be able to put on a... If he has the chops for it, I'm not sure he's much of a Snap player. Certainly didn't see much of it last season. But if Bliss has the chops for it and he, like, has good game sense with Snapfire, if he's an artillery commander, and this guy's a Hearts of Iron 4 player off screen, so hopefully he is, then... he's going to be able to get a lot done in this game. Oh my god, Drow almost died. Had to go home.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
He's going to TB back in the lane at only about half health. Gonna make her a little vulnerable to the existing offenses. I think this is a pretty bad Magnus game, all things considered. Like, certainly the Magnus is answered, if nothing else. Like, they have so much. Like, he's never going to get that many in an RP. The positioning doesn't work for it. You know, OD's going to be able to save, or worse yet, cockblock him. And he shouldn't have too much trouble in this lane, either. Shouldn't, is the,
This
the
is
key
a
operating word.
great game for Magnus.
So it shouldn't be good for Magnus, at the very least. It's going to be an awesome Dawnbreaker game. Like, there is absolutely, and I mean this, there's nothing on that Steam that really stops Dawnbreaker that well.
Yeah, she absolutely just rolls this team comp.
Like, again, Bane, hypothetically, but, you know, if the answer for 3 of the heroes on this team is Bane, that doesn't work for Bane. That's too much.
Yeah.
And the Wyvern is going to be all execution. Definitely have to just see how that one goes. This might be it for Bliss. Nope. Matt's not going to gambit himself on the funny shot here. CombinationBean. This is a very familiar sight for those of you who watched the Season 13 Quap Circles games. CombinationBean playing as Wraith King, sitting behind tower at virtually no health, while the support has been unable to really help much at all. Truly gets to one of the core problems that this comp has. This is going to be a bad, bad lane for Wraith King. This is going to suck for him. Wraith King, just to call a spade, maybe you can say, you know, oh, you're all in a perfect world or whatever. This is the LD2L. This ain't a perfect world. At an LD2L level, Wraith King just needs a more defensive support than Bane. Which is funny.
Right.
Let me rephrase that, because Kid Dynamite's gonna bitch in the comments if I don't phrase it perfectly. Okay. Wraith King needs saves in lane, heals. He needs sustain. He needs a dazzle. He needs an oracle. He needs somebody that defensive in utility. Bane is going to be mostly about defense, sure, but one, he kind of struggles to deal with multiple targets. That's kind of his shtick. And B, he's not going to be able to help Wraith King directly. He's going to be able to stun for him, but he's not going to be able to heal him. He's not going to be able to deliver mana. He's not going to be able to buff him with a passive or anything like that. He is all about sort of making the enemies worse, not him better. Wraith King needs somebody to make him better. There we go. I think I put that the same. Yeah, you're an outsider. What do you think of that assessment? Does that say it all?
Yeah, I can kind of get what you're driving at here. It feels like this is just generally a game that, like, how do I word it? It feels like the Wraith King pick feels like it was made with intent, but that the intent was misguided.
Right. Snapfire just barely missing out on that cookie there. That cookie lands, Big Al is definitely dead. The Phoenix is gone here.
Yeah.
This is a very compromising position for Combination Bean.
Oh,
This is a very dead position for Combination Bean. First blood for Vex.
First blood to herald the break.
that is unfortunate.
The saddest thing of all here is that Bane is going to need Enfeeble. Like, absolutely 100% is going to need. Like, he's got into Brain Sap here. I don't think you can do Brain Sap this lane. Like, one value point, obviously, just for trades and all that. I don't think you can. I think you just so badly need to be defensive here. I'm gonna take a kill on Bliss at least. The defensive aspect of Feeble here, I think you're just gonna need it so bad. I think the only way you win this lane is just go all in on E and Q. Just pretend your W doesn't exist.
This is like an insanely defensive lane.
And I say the only way you win this lane, but the reality is even if you do that, you're probably not gonna you're gonna lose. You're just gonna lose less. Not the most ideal Wraith King start. But hey, you know, if there's anybody who has a lot of experience having this exact scenario happen to her as Wraith King, it is CombinationBean. So, you know.
You never know.
On the other hand, so far it seems like Kai has basically been just completely untouched in his own lane. They've knocked out the Bliss so far, but he's sitting at the top of the charts for the last hits. Ooh, good shotgun blast to the back of the head by Bliss there. Sitting at the top of the last hits chart, godlike Matt sitting in lane at very little mana. He's gotten Soul Ring because he's out of the pause 3 loop. He does not have the N word this time. I guess in fairness, on Mars you still do want to get a Soul Ring because you're not getting it for day-to-day use. You're getting it to emergency pop arena, which you're going to need to do sometimes. So, I guess on Mars it's probably okay. But I'm gonna spoil this much for you kids. Any pause 3 people watching at home, and remember pause 3 dojo opening up after week 2 starts, right? Well, not after week 2 starts, after week 2, after this Sunday. But for all of you pause 3 fans out here, let me give you this one in. The way they reworked the Null Talisman, absolutely fantastic for most pause 3s. The way they reworked it actually makes it a boost on you, actually makes it better than it used to be, even though it's a nerf for most of its former users. Goodbye, CombinationBean. Magnus coming into this lane with a DD, and oh nope, Meth is gonna get out of this one alive, but what does that matter? That is not the man you want to be surviving when the mid ganks your lane. But, I mean, I guess, hypothetically, it could be worse. It's better that he didn't die than that he did, but, still not the best outcome. But yeah, for most big end heroes, Null Talisman change was a nerf, but on most pause 3s, the way it works, it's just generally going to be better off for you. So think about it instead of Soul Ring on a lot of the classic Soul Ring guys. Goodbye, Big Al. Kai definitely thinking about his Gust here, and thinking about it in an interesting way. Usually when we talk about the get the casual point of Gust in lane phenomenon for Drow Ranger, because you know it's always really the big lane phase question for Drow Ranger. Do you get the Gust or not? How do you use it? No, well, do you get the Gust or not rather than how do you use it, right? Usually it's a pretty simple defensive get the hell away from me type utility. But in this lane, it's going to let Kai and Bliss pick up perhaps a couple of kills. Certainly they got one at least. This is certainly a very dominant start for him in this lane phase. It's given him both the most last hits and a kill under his belt now, so... It's going to be a massacre here.
No.
Very interesting positioning there on Bliss's part. It's going back in. I cannot advise this.
Oh, Bliss, what are you doing? Oh, never mind.
Barely living. Bliss going crazy there. Must have been watching Drow's HP, not his own or something. I don't know. Not a good time to rebound, but does manage to barely slip his way out of there. Cult Bracelet, the pause 3 item du jour.
You know, something else that comes that's coming up in this now, especially in the conversation about Drow, is like I don't necessarily want to keep harping on it because I feel like it's kind of beating a dead horse, but that's another one of those things that I've always found odd going to like Dota from basically any other MOBA is that there are actually scenarios in which you don't want to get one of your abilities as soon as you can.
Oh yeah, there's some Dota heroes that don't get their ult until the second level of it.
And to me, from my perspective, like outside looking in, that's just absolutely absurd. Because as a general rule, especially in like League or Smite, your ult is something that you can only get at that point for a reason, because it's like the linchpin of your kit, and you kind of need it to be functional at that level. And it's weird to see that there is a game where sometimes people just don't have that.
I'll take that.
Yep. So typically it's like oh, Wraith King dead again. No surprise here. This is the worst Wraith King lane imaginable, especially with Meth having to step out. And goodbye, Big Al again. This is a big fall apart on the part of the Bean 10 team. It's a bad sign. It really is a bad sign in a game where lane phase is ending and it's already kind of no honk disrespect. It's already kind of feeling a little bit like it's feeling very in the bag for the Dire so far. Like, just look at that net worth chart. Yeah, that's not what you want. You remember the last game where I was talking about it's not that unusual to see both of the pause ones at the bottom of the net worth chart list?
Yeah.
Well, in this game, one of the pause ones is tying for the top of the net worth chart list, and the other pause one has got less money than the Dire supports who are just farming kills off of them.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Good save by Danny. Don't have anything going on as OD this game. That's certainly how you do it.
Right, we're going back.
Gonna decline to chase the winner of earning it further than that. Anyway, the answer is because there's a lot of ults that need more context than just the existence of the skill to be useful. Like, for example, one of the heroes that I play a lot is Pit Lord, and his ult is probably gonna sound crazy to you as an outsider because
Pit Lord is the one with like the portal ult, right?
Yep, he has the big portal ult, and sometimes you just don't get that at level 6 because at that point it's like there are some games where none of the other lanes are going to need your presence, and you're not going to be strong enough, or even with perhaps with the assistance of your pause 4, to really you should have just made London go to sleep there.
Yeah.
Okay, that was so unnecessary. You can really tell London's not taking this game seriously at all.
Yeah, that was not needed at all.
But as I was saying, you know, there's a lot of games where, like, even you with the combination of your pause 4 are just not going to get anything done with the ult. So you just wait till you're a little stronger, and then, you know, suddenly it's like, you know, it's quite useful for you. You know, it's still the linchpin of your kit. It's just the instant utility of it isn't necessarily there. Makes you feel any better. It's like a super exception. I think there's a grand total like 5 heroes in the game that you might not like. There's Naga Siren, there's Monkey King, there's Medusa, Wraith King, there's... You don't really run Chaos Knight anymore. This is an interesting arena at least.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
If I can't actually get it, it's a good Bane ult as well. But the problem is
Seems like they don't really have enough damage for that.
Yep. Well, really, the real problem is that the they had as much damage going into the arena as
they did coming out.
It was the exact situation that we pitched it as not being good earlier.
Oh.
Shot in the back of the head for godlike Matt.
Execution style.
But yeah, still the linchpin of the kits. It's just a lot of those are just they have very farming related regular skills, and you want to get those, like the Wraith King.
Right.
You know, Bean gets it this game because she's already 0-3 and you don't want to get that even worse. But a lot of the time, instead of getting that, it's just better farm efficiency if you're not dying to get more of your crit.
First.
Yeah.
I think that's more what I was thinking of rather than ult, is that there are a lot of heroes that just don't get one of their basic abilities.
Yep.
That just and that is just absolutely foreign to me.
Again, there are definitely more heroes that don't get a certain ability until way after lane than, usually that's going to be like a passive that doesn't really matter until you have a lot of stats to back it up. It'll be an interesting scenario. US Danny here is actually in a lot more danger than he looks, because he's one of the heroes where he... OD is one of the heroes where he really just does not do any sort of damage when he's silenced, you know? When we talk about Viper, the joke I always have is, what's big green, does no damage, Viper when he's silenced. What's big green scary? I mean, I guess Viper's kind of scary. So it's what's big green, made of rocky stuff, and does no damage, OD when he's silenced. Even if he's at the top of the Radiant board, that really does not mean anything, especially when he has the minus here as well, and Matt is bridged too far here, just kind of going down. Not the position where Matt is usually at, and certainly not where he wants to be. Meth is okay. I just have no idea why he's here.
Yeah.
The good news is like this guy's gotten some room for the course here, but I mean the problem is that like Bean just exited lane phase so far behind because the matchup was just so god-awful for her. That's like, with a lot of time...
this was beyond an uphill battle, like, from the start.
Like, at the end of lane phase, she was lower than the supports on the Dire. Like, with all this time, the place she has gotten to is higher than the supports on the Dire. And she still has to live in a world where if Winnow Wyvern sees her, she's dead. If Dawnbreaker jumps on her, she's dead, and so on. No. Drows had some nasty run-ins with an ancient stack here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
You know, some people call her Dro Ranger.
I will be honest, when I first played Dota, I did too, but then I learned my lesson when I then played D&D.
Yeah, I say Winnow Wyvern specifically to annoy people. Sorry to ruin that on stream for everybody, but I do. I say Wyvern specifically because I get complaints about it in the comment sections and in the Discord server when I do it. But man, the equivalent of that on me is Dro Ranger, and there's so many LT2 guys who say it, bro.
No, that's absurd. Yeah, I figured that one out pretty damn quick.
The good news is Bean gets that kill. That is like one of the best possible things that can happen at this point.
Yeah.
At this point, you just gotta live in reality on this team. Bean's really your pos 3 right now. Like, her biggest utility is going to be the ability to stun and the ability to slow people down when she revives. She is never going to mean anything with the... This is a good old theory. Never gonna mean anything as a carry, basically. That was such a good Bane ult, but oh no, the chill from Danny kind of ruined it. Well, not that much.
Oh, the actually good arena?
Snapfire does start bringing the pain out, but too many people on her team have already gone down by this. Well,
alright, okay. The Mars pick actually got something done.
The sad thing is that arena only worked because everybody on the Dire was already in such a bad position when that fight started. Like, you know, and it was and don't get me wrong, taking advantage of that is still good. We've definitely seen some good things out of God like Matt as a Mars player, so it's definitely not saying like, oh, you know, wash Mars or whatever. That ain't what we're going for here. The problem is that Mars can't do anything with the arena unless you're already winning the team fight, at which point, why did you pick Mars? Especially, why did you pick Mars right now? Because let's just call a spade, this is probably the weakest hero in Dota 2 right now. Ice Frog just wants people to not play this hero so fucking much that the hero had a 45% win rate at, like, in pro games, at the highest MMR level, at the lowest MMR level. He's like one of the lowest win rates in every single demographic you had in Dota. And then they nerfed him again, slightly buffed him one last time, basically to try and get people to use him in pubs, and then he got picked like 6 times in the next major, lost all the matches, and they banned him again. Like, or not banned him again, nerfed him again. Like, literally, they just want people to stop picking this hero so bad, and unfortunately, God like Matt did not listen. So it's really kind of you know, as they say, an anchor around his neck in this specific game. It does not really matter how well he's doing, you just can't fight the comp that he's in right here.
Right.
Ugh.
I could have
Sworn there were more of them.
Where next to seek my blade?
Get rid of the mango! God, this is such a tragic... And this is really the biggest part. Like, the biggest downside of a Wraith King game. If you're down at the... Like, if you're, like, super down, if you get killed in lane as Wraith King, basically, you're just not a hero that can recover. Like, you just can't farm that fast. Like, your fastest rate is pretty damn slow. Got an arena going on here while we were watching that. Let's see that actually take place.
Yeah, that was actually interesting.
Jumps in, he sees the drow, tries to drop the arena to get both, but does not end up getting them both. Gus does go through arena walls. Okay, I was kind of wondering that. That's a bit unfortunate. I kind of wish it didn't.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
This is a good use of the Wyvern ult as setup, which is something you don't see that much in LD2L. The point of that was not to kill Phoenix. The point of that was to get, you know, to position for everyone to get there, and that definitely did come off well. Good artillery strike there by Bliss. Pretty much exactly what it needed to be. Your king does thank you. Like, this is such a rut. And the biggest sad thing is, like, if Wraith King builds, like, farming items, there's not really farming items that are particularly good on him either. Like, you just kind of have to get armlet and just hit things really fast and just not be this behind. Like, there's just no hope for Bean at this point. Just makes it hard to watch.
Where are the rest?
It's a good... Well... Oh, that was a great spear, though!
Oh my god.
Puts him right back in the firing line.
Okay, okay. Alright, well, the Mars pick isn't ruining this game as badly as I expected it to.
And now the river is filled with Super Mario Sunshine paint. That's what it looks like, right? I've always... Oh, okay! Now that's something we gotta see. Gotta look at that, not the Mario Sunshine paint. Okay, this is just a casual ban ult when... Okay, yeah, this doesn't mean anything as far as, like, a strategic situation, but boy is that great for being in the moment.
Yeah. And yeah, the Mario Sunshine paint is like, it's like a darker tone, but it's pretty similar. At least from what I remember, I haven't played that game in forever. I did not particularly care for it.
I'm just gonna say this, okay? There's been like a Super Mario Sunshine renaissance lately. Okay, DAE, Super Mario Sunshine, not that bad. Okay, challenge mode, assholes. Play the game for 5 minutes without the goddamn hover nozzles. See if you're still saying that.
Yeah.
Phoenix is just gonna randomly die off screen in the mini jungle here. We're in a bit of a pursuit. Ooh, good use of skills by Bane there. Get himself out at least.
Yeah.
An interesting arena.
Okay, that was yeah, that was a weird arena. But it worked out. It might have worked out.
No, that ain't great.
One for one.
Okay, it's certainly not good if Bean is going to die in response. In fairness, I'm not really 100% sure why Bean is here. This is not a great spot for her to be anyway. Because, like, nobody... And this is the core problem of somebody like a Mars in a situation like this. They don't... If Mars is going around trying to make himself a nuisance in this spot lane, they don't need to pull, like, everybody out to deal with Mars. They can just send out, like... Wyvern and have Dawnbreaker jump on Mars, and they're fine.
Right.
Drow can just stay wherever. You know, Magnus can stay wherever, Snapfire can stay wherever. This is another interesting pick, though. Okay, it's getting a lot less interesting really fast.
Okay. That's
This is... it's getting interesting again. Okay. I think there's almost an element of like overconfidence there on Drow Ranger's part.
Yeah, that seemed like it was. That seemed like it was just kind of done without a whole lot of thought behind it. Probably just thought that that it would work out a lot better.
Yep. Again, very good game sense. Even in a game like this, very good game sense there on the part of Bean 10.
Yeah.
So this ain't great.
It feels like even if they're in like really disadvantageous positions in terms of team comp and such, it seems like Bean 10 just has better chemistry.
Right, the chemistry is good. Problem is,
and honestly, it doesn't make up for everything. But I feel like, especially in a scenario like this, that like the members of a team like being able to work with each other is, to me at least, a bit more important than team comp for the most part.
Right.
It's like, obviously you can't just like say, oh screw it, we'll pick 5 carries and it'll work because we jive together. No, that's stupid. But something like this, like
very interesting fight here. That's definitely good old in theory on Bane's part there. It really looked like they were going to be able to turn that around.
It was good on paper.
They did just kind of casually knock out the Drow here. Speaking of overconfidence, I can tell you one thing that this definitely just needs to be the case. I'm gonna pause the game real quick. Meth. That's all that is said is meth. But I can tell you one thing that's definitely the case. This Mantis style right here, this is hubris, okay?
Yeah.
There is nothing on
that. That's kind of a stupid pick.
There is nothing on this team that you're going to be able to reliably manta dodge unless, like, you can get rid of the fire spirits. It's basically it as far as the it goes. Like, you're going to be able to dodge the Wraith Fire Blast. That's not been any concern to you in this game. It's going to do nothing against Mars Arena. It's going to do nothing against Bane's tricks. It's going to do nothing against OD stuff. You really just need a BKB here because BKB makes you completely invincible to this lineup, basically.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
you see Mars?
Why would you not go for BKB instead?
London. You see this Mars? You see this Mars right here? Okay. You know what's really funny about Mars? You see this? You see this ult? Okay, this arena. If you have BKB, you can walk right out of it. You can just leave.
Yeah.
OD, you remember how earlier I was talking about how if he's silenced, he does no damage? Well, if you're magic immune, he also does no damage. The sooner the Dire cores get BKBs on the lot of them, like, the sooner they have literally nothing more to fear. This is a good catch on Godlike Matt to make up for the not good not catches. I like this arena, though. Ooh, that was a spicy fight.
That was good.
Vernal just kills the Phoenix, which is not a great use of it.
Middle tower is under attack.
Well, OD blinks to Winter Wyvern to try and put her in jail, and then puts himself in jail instead. Ouch.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
It's definitely a testament to this team's ability to work together and make strategic decisions that...
Yeah, just the fact that they've managed to come back from this.
Yep, they have the gold advantage right now, and perhaps more importantly, Wraith King is actually no longer last place net worth core. He's actually doing better than 2 of the cores on the Dire, which is really astounding. Problem is that he's nowhere close to... Well, he's actually not even that far from Drow Ranger. And that is really, like, not easy, not common. Just good positioning on CombinationBean's part when it comes to mostly...
doing good so far.
I think a big part of that is Bean's been in good positions to try and get the comeback kills. Like, she's been really good about when she actually fights. When she comes out, it feels like so far there hasn't been, like... Why does Bane have cheese? It feels like... Somebody please! Somebody pick it up! Come on!
Nobody wants it?
Come on! No!
Are you serious? No cap? 100?
It's theirs!
On God?
It's theirs. They can see it on the floor. They always can see it.
This is not busting,
Bro.
bro.
Don't do this to me. Biggest pet peeve in Dota. That was an awesome Bane ult.
Okay.
Good Wyvern ult too, in contrast. I do think that Wyvern ult just actually saved them a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
It's a good Snapfire ult as well. Managed to snap down the Phoenix.
Monster kill! A mind prepared, a death foretold.
Dawnbreaker going for that BKB. Magnus has a Q. Drow's still going for that, that Manta style first.
What a questionable.
Radiant are scanning.
What a questionable item.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Coming out here with some strong offense. Danny has some really quick trigger fingers on that, on that item usage. We're having a hard time actually catching out the OD here. Okay, it's over for him. Goodbye, OD. Goodbye, monster kill streak. That is not great. And now a moment to breathe. Casually do Roche now, because really there's not anything stopping them, especially with Matt just gonna randomly die in a 1v1 to avert a bot. What happened?
Okay then.
Okay, now what? Okay, I gotta know what happens here. Matt, if you want to make me laugh, just hit Soul Ring and kill yourself. You don't have to do all that.
Regeneration!
That is the absolute most... If you want the 100% guaranteed way to just make me start laughing at a game of Dota, just do that. Insert it up here. That reminds me, did they ever get their Cloak of Flames? The answer is yes! Oh, thank God for that.
Oh, thank God.
Very casual ult on Magnus here. I can tell you this much, I definitely like this Bane and Phoenix support duo combo a lot more in a game where you just don't have such a fragile pause one for so much of the game. Like if CombinationBean is on like a Jug or like a tiny, you know, Jug's banned out, so let's say like a Tiny in this game where she's not having to worry so much about just being so dead so frequently. If she's on something that's got a little bit more staying power, in especially the early game, I think this is a really good support duo. Certainly something worth revisiting in the future for this lineup. But not now. There's a time and place for everything, as Professor Oak would say. But not now. This is not what you want your inventory to look like at 30 minutes as Mars, man. It's just, oh. Meth is randomly gonna die somewhere to Drow.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Completely eaten up. It's not what you want your inventory to look like. Drow actually diverted. Yeah, it completely went off course from the Manta style after all, and just went to BKB. This is an okay Wyvern ult. This probably would have been better the other way around. Fortunately, when Vex is in the popsicle jail, Mars can't do anything.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And now we're doing this again. CombinationBean is going to die somewhere. Okay, what happened? Oh, just got body blocked on the way to a haste rune. That's so sad.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That's BM type Dota play right here.
Honestly, yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Ouch.
They warned you not to speak with rangers.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
At this point, with the BKB on Drow, Vex have his BKB, VKB on Dawnbreaker,
Radiant's bottom tower
BKB
is under
coming
attack.
soon to it. No, Magnus is actually going to be avoiding him for now, but I don't know if it's going to be that needed. I feel like they're really quickly running out of options for the Radiant.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Net worth differential is not big here, but it sure feels big.
Yeah, it feels massive.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
Vex will now. We will now watch Vex walk down lane.
Hell yeah. I am.
What,
not
you
going
want to
to
see
complain.
whatever's going on at the bot T3? Nope. We're watching Vex
After
walk
that, I
down
just
lane.
want to look at Dawnbreaker.
I can feel my ratings going through the... Why aren't you jumping, Vex? Do something. There we go.
There.
Only jumps in after the kill on Kaim. Okay. That has got to be bad comms, like... Okay, let's actually watch this fight take place rather than shitposting. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like if this Dawnbreaker ult comes out earlier in this sequence, that's probably safe. Yeah. That has got to be some bad comms going on. Like, if these guys are talking to each other, there's no way something like that happens. QS Danny will now be murdered. It's a very strong Wyvern gameplay coming out of this guy.
Yeah.
It's really at this point, like de facto playing like a much higher position. He's taking a lot of this farm. Ooh, got a nice shot on the Magnus there, but unfortunately... Okay, maybe not so unfortunately. Phoenix coming in. Doing some good work here. Okay, it's getting kind of unfortunate again, actually. Very awkward little scenario here.
Yeah.
Bean having to go for the BKB here actually really hurts a lot. You know, thinking about it, I know it's like we're still in the super BKB meta. I don't know if I would actually go for the BKB here on the Skeleton King.
Yeah.
What do they have that doesn't just go through it? It's like the Dawnbreaker ult basically, and that's it.
Pretty much, yeah. And honestly, I don't think that's big enough of a threat to justify buying an entire item for it.
The Wyvern ult, well, and the Snapfire ult. There you go. But I mean, honestly, if you want to deal with the Snapfire ult, just complain at Matt or Phoenix until they build a Pipe of Insight. It's probably a much more equitable response. And the cookie. So Snapfire as a hero is dealt with. That's not really, you know, that's one of many. I don't know if it's worth the cost, or especially worth it for how infrequently in the fights it's going to mean anything. Gosh, there is another one, but I mean, how often are skills going to be an exciting factor for Wraith King, especially in a fight like this?
Yeah.
You saw in London there. You can tell London's starting to take this game a little more seriously now. On the grounds of trying to take Bean specifically out of the fight to get that done. Dawnbreaker just jumping right up and down on the spot, falls right on Danny's head, gets rid of him.
Okay.
This is a huge Phoenix ult though. It's gonna be so hard for Dawnbreaker to live this. She just barely does. Phoenix is not done yet.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Matt isn't done either. Was that worth your pause 1 and 2 though?
I really don't think so.
Magnus just refreshed very casually here. I gotta be honest, I don't exactly understand that casual refresh. Okay, if they just kind of all stand together, I do. Phoenix, great dodge with the Yules there. But it doesn't matter because Wolverine can just eat him. That was probably not worth the refresher reveal. I'm just gonna say that.
Not.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower
I've just
has
got
fallen.
a softball thrown at his face from downtown. And funnily enough, in the light of all that, a creep just got a tower up here. Ooh, that was a huge fight. You can say this about being 10, they're certainly not laying down and taking this game.
Gotta keep limber.
Trickster Cloak. Ninja Gear. Storm Crafter. All kinds of fun jungle items. Hey, as a League player, what do you think of jungle items?
I honestly don't mind them. I think that they're an interesting mechanic, but I also feel like it's kind of interesting that like some of the jungle items are just kind of there.
Well, I'm glad we disagree on this subject.
It feels like the balancing of jungle items is kind of inconsistent.
I think jungle items are actually the worst thing that they ever added to Dota 2, and I'm astounded they've gone this long without being taken out, to be honest with you.
I don't know, like, I can get what, I can kind of get why people don't like, why Dota players don't like them, but I think they're interesting.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But, you know, keep in mind that I am specifically using the word interesting.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I think the biggest issue is you know, even if you don't buy into the idea of this is another thing that is designed to kick a down team when it is down, which it is, and even if you don't buy into the idea of they're never going to balance them, especially constantly cycling them, which is the case, I think everybody would agree with the following statement. The only way that jungle items are ever going to be that well balanced is if they're so ineffectual and have so little impact on the game as a whole that they mean nothing, which means you should have had them to begin with. I like Magnus charging into the shield wall!
Holy hell. Okay then.
Bonk!
It really just told him to sit the fuck down.
He told himself sit the fuck down. The arena was already up, and then Magnus just turns the arena wall and just charges. Donk. Migraine generator. Very big kills here. I'm probably going to allow this rush to go through. Dawnbreaker not in the right spot for this. Fortunately for Bean, she wasn't in the right spot either. Oh, goodbye, Danny. Well, that's Aegis down. And that's Bane down. And that's Bane down. Gonna get the... Nope, never mind. Actually, this has got really bad, really fast. One RP was all they needed. They had like one brief lapse in the positioning gameplay. And, you know, like I said, London likes it when you all stand together, and what did he give you? One...
All of them standing together.
Yep. One moment where they were all standing together and it just all comes crashing down on their heads. And all I can say to that is, youch, you do not want to immediately lose the fight after taking Roche.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a big morale bust as well. And really the biggest issue at this point in the game is that Danny is just so easy to kill. Like, he does so much damage, but all that needs to happen in a fight is somebody to concentrate on him a little bit and he's dead. Caw. I don't think there's realistically a victory condition for Radiant at this point. Like, at this juncture, it's kind of on Dire to throw more than it is for Radiant to succeed.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen. Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
I've seen crazier things happen, but like I said, that's gonna be the grounds on which the London team loses this game. It's not that the Bean team has to succeed, it's that the London team has to fail. That's their way out here.
Exactly, yeah.
Can you believe Godlike Matt is sponsored by Red Bull? That's crazy.
Insane.
Can you believe that CombinationBean is sponsored by females? Just the concept of being female, actually.
Radiant.
Damn, I wish I was sponsored by females.
Can you believe that Danny is not sponsored by anything at all and has an irrelevant clan tag for a team I've never seen before?
Oh, he's not sponsored by It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Probably not. Can you believe that
Damn.
Kai is Can you believe that Kai is the only Asian member of the SS?
Yeah.
Damn. That says a lot about Kai's character, but on what grounds do you believe that he is that he is an SS member besides the clan tag?
Oh, I don't believe that he's an SS member. I was just thinking that, like, the way that you worded it made me think, like, we were putting aside the fact that he is in the SS at all. I was just thinking about how odd it would be if there was one Asian guy in the SS.
So what you're saying
Unseen.
is that you... Okay, yeah.
Dire are scanning.
Smoke ganks here, mutual smoke ganks here. Meph is actually about to... That's a good game since I'm Meph there. Using his Glimmer Cape to go uphill on that. Very interesting scenario there. Nobody really finds each other. Oh, got the reveal here finally. Engagement on Bane. Bane's trying to get out. Bane got out.
Oh, he's out. Holy
What
hell.
a brave TP that actually, and it actually turned around for him. I tell you what this game reminds me a lot of, and this is... US Danny is going to shudder if he watches this cast and he hears these words. This reminds me a lot of those early EDNH games from Season 13. And let me tell you how, right?
Silence afflicts thee.
No, actually, I'm going to save that for the post-game analysis. Because I think that's quite a post-game thing. I just can't see the post-game being so far from here.
Yeah.
Matt is quite caught here. Not many people in the neighborhood for him.
Doesn't even describe it.
Penn doesn't even describe it. Oh, London really just felt like he was
There was an
hesitating hard on
attempt,
that.
question mark.
Funny, it's kind of like the Tusk moment from last round. Oh, Wonder Wyvern is just gonna get knocked off the face of the earth. Hotbreaker actually fails to get there in time with the ult. Sunray looking for London. Supports are very eager to go, and Core's not so much on Bean 10.
Yeah.
Meph. Oh my god, what the hell is that? Nope. 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 We're gonna watch that happen in all of its glory again. Are you ready?
Oh, I don't want to see that again.
Illusion.
Oof.
Uh,
London hunting. You know, I mentioned last game about like the comfort level on the heroes. One of the London classics.
Double damage.
Even though he's almost playing as a support in this game, this is exactly the kind of scenario he likes to be in. Goes down very quickly though. So maybe he'd like to be in a scenario where he's like doing that, but he doesn't die at the end of it. Drow Ranger just firing blanks at the back of the arena wall. Well, That felt like the arena killed Wraith King more than it did anything else.
Real.
Where are the rest?
Where are the rest? Another former team this is reminding me of is definitely Baby Schlark in Season 12. Maybe some Panic at the Roche Pit type vibe, actually, from Season 12, actually. Because, you know, Baby Schlark would often persist in these rather doomed games. It just kind of fit another US standing team, funnily enough. Baby Schlark would always kind of just stick around in these really doomed games for a really long time. And I'll just say this, I know the net worth disparity is still only 4K even at this point, but it's like, so much is on a guy who dies so fast in fights. Like, if... It has to be the super perfect execution factor around Danny. If he dies 2 seconds into a fight, they have literally nothing to offer.
Yeah, there's it feels like they put a lot of investment into like whatever fight they pick.
Right. And that's it. He's oh, goodbye meth randomly somewhere. He's basically their entire line of credit. Mars and Wraith King are sitting on nothing. Wraith King did a good job trying to build out of the pit for a while, but I mean this is just such a bad Wraith King game outside of literally just the utility of being able to stand up to Magnus. That there's just not really much of a hope for him ever.
Bounty, which Mitra, invisibility.
Invisibility. Some solo smoke on the Wyvern here. Wyvern is not a flying pig, I promise you. Do not believe the select portrait flies. Go Cookie there. Matt's in a bit of a compromising spot. Has lost about half of his HP before the fight has begun. And the OD jail ability there. That odd effect there. And goodbye, David.
Like a stone.
Well, that ain't good.
Yeah.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And goodbye, man. Round one, anyway. They were very desperate to try and get the Wraith King there. There's still a chance, actually. Ooh, good spear by Matt. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter when Dawnbreaker exists.
Ooh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's an unfortunate one.
And that's the ball game, I think. We got buybacks, but
We got buybacks, but I don't think that it's really gonna make that much of a difference. This dude feels pretty cut now.
gonna get a casual, maybe casual kill on the Wyvern here. Yep. But I mean, even with Dawnbreaker having TP'd out, it's goodbye Matt. That's a dieback from Matt. That's it for yep, 3 bad weeks to die. CombinationBean calls the GG. And hard to disagree. This is
yeah, that's GG.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
ooh. Okay, so if you recall earlier, I dropped this line. This reminds me of one of these EDH games from early on in Season 13. Let me explain what I mean by this. Here was basically the pattern of EDH, right? EDH had a bunch of quite good players, right? US Danny, who played mid for Bean Tim both games here, was on that team, for example, right? Here's the problem, though. Sorry to Bolidek, apologies to him. I've talked to him about it off camera, and he seems okay with it. Well, sometimes. I mean, sometimes I mention it, and he's like, oh, what do you mean by this? But the EDH tradition was to kind of outplay the enemy team and still lose horribly because of the draft. And I think this is exactly what happened to Bean 10 here. I think if Bean 10 has a better team comp in this second game, I think this is a 2-0 series for them. They looked really strong in defeat, because this, just to be blunt, this team is horrible. This is a god-awful five heroes to put down on your roster here. I thought despite all that, the play was still very good. Clearly, what the team needs is to have more of a concrete direction in drafts. It felt like in Game 2 they just kind of played 5 comfort heroes with just vague thoughts of, counter and all that. In Game 1, I was mentioning about like the positioning thing. In Game 1, you had a really good lineup for that whole positioning idea. You had loose but still existent formations. In this game, Mars is always going to be rubbing shoulders with Wraith King, is always going to be rubbing shoulders with Phoenix. Outworld Devour is never going to be too far behind. So much of your team fight is concentrated in such a small spot. And what do? Do you A, try to reorganize it into like individual skirmishes and let Kai eat all of you, or B, get all together and let London get an RP on you, and then this Dixac guy just completely kick your ass?
Yeah, it feels like the team comps here are like on both ends. I think the team comps are kind of like they're very much like two sides of a coin. It feels like Bean 10's picks are mostly just them picking things that they're confident in, whereas it seems like GG's were actually like building more functional comps around each other.
Right.
And even though it seems like Bean had like better chemistry, I think the fact that they weren't making super like intelligent team comps was probably like the driving force behind their losses.
Oh no, yeah, this is a we lost the game in draft phase. We lost the game in draft phase, and it, like I said, it just kind of goes back to this, right? When you pick Phoenix, there's sort of an arms race that you engage in Phoenix, right? And the GGs, they didn't play, but Bean 10 did. They went all in on this Phoenix idea, and it just panned out so poorly for them. And of course, more importantly than that, they picked like probably the dirt worst hero in the game right now, Mars. And I just genuinely think, I think the play was stronger on Bean 10. The coordination was better. The game sense was better. There's not a knock on GG's.
The game sense was better. The coordination was better. Yeah, no, like you said, it's not a knock on GG's. It's just a simple, just calling a spade a spade. They had the better coordination and game sense. But the problem is that the GG's had a significantly better comp in both occasions.
I can definitely say this very confidently about the GGs leaving this game. The GGs need to communicate better. There was so many very, very flagrant examples of the left hand not talking to the right hand. We had a couple of Laverne ults that kind of messed with the flow of fights more than they helped. We had a couple of in Game 1, we had many situations where like a whole bunch of guys would try to initiate on different people at the exact same time and get nothing done. There was that moment here in this particular game, which is probably going to be the standout moment for me for this team, where, you have this team fight going on at bot. Dawnbreaker has the ult the whole time and just doesn't drop it in, even though there's some really good opportunities, perhaps most notably, Drow Ranger in the Fiend's Grip, right? There's a lot of, like, it felt like what you really had on this team was Kai and London playing very single-player games and everyone else just trying to pick up space around them. Comps in Game 1 weren't great. Some of the individual picks in Game 2 for them weren't great. I think they just need to they need to work on their talkie-talkie. This team needs time on the field. Which is not surprising, because I know for a fact that this team did not queue as 5 before this particular game. This was their first engagement as a team. I think if they get the talkie-talkie going, we have called that these guys are definitely capable of being like a top 3 team in this season. They definitely can be very dominant. I think the combination of playstyles of Kai and London is one of those rare, like, super chemistry moments. Like, Kai can say to the end of time, oh, I'm not that good at pause 1. In this case, this isn't a matter of being good at pause 1. It's a matter of flowing well with your pause 2. I think that works really well here. The way that London and Kai play the game, they check for each other's weaknesses very, very well, and in a way that doesn't really, like, weaken any part of the game. I'm pretty sure London's going to have a 100% win rate on Kunkka this season. If he ever gets it, he's just going to win every time. Like, that sort of situation. And I think part of it is going to be learning how to get the rest of the team to fit that mold. Like, definitely, Vex should be playing as, like, the sort of mid-range guy or team fight disruptor to, you know, either fill in for what you need or kind of go in for the weakness depending on what the enemy comp is, right? Like, you know, in that first game, you put Vex on something like a Pudge or a Brewmother and things get a lot hairier, right? I think learning how to fit Vex into this puzzle is going to be the first thing that they need to do. I think he definitely fit a lot better on the Dawnbreaker in Game 2 than he did on the Marcy in Game 1. I actually had to stop and think about that for a second. Even though he did well personally, just didn't fit the doctrine of the team.
Right.
Definitely is the idea there. I think Bliss had a very strong Game 2 performance. That's definitely a good sign from him. I think this Dixac guy actually had a pretty good Game 2 as well. He became a core, really, in Game 2 at London's expense.
I mean,
but I think it worked.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Overall, I think that game was a bit less like there was a bit less like interesting stuff going on than there was in the last game, but that one was definitely it was a lot more obvious as to like what was letting these teams win.
So to that end, yeah, I think this is an EDNH flashback for US Danny on Bean 10. I think if Bean 10 has a better team comp in Game 2, they 2-0. I think GG's need some time to grow, but I think in several weeks this will be a very different match if they can get around the edges. Of course, it could also be a very different match for Bean 10 if they get around the edges as well. You know, what's it gonna be like if Bean 10 comes in with some really good comps? I mean, they had a pretty good comp in the first game, so
yeah.
What's it gonna be like if they have those good comps every match and are coming in with a solid strategy every match? What's it gonna be like if the GGs come in with a better communication every match? You know, it's gonna be hard to say. Either way, that's the ball game. Now, London, not London, JFK. I'm sorry. I'm not racist, I swear. I asked you at the top of the card a question about both of these teams. Without saying what I asked you, what's the answer?
Oh my god, I forgot the question. Oh, right. I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's GG's.
You're wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yep. If you or somebody you know wants to learn Dota 2 at a casual or more competitive level, go to ld2l.gg to sign up for today. We're not going to do the sponsor bit this week because it's going to be sponsored by me. We're going to be doing the Pos 3 Dojo starting after this Sunday. So for week 3 and on, the Godlike Mats and the Vexes of the world are going to be hanging out in there. We're going to be talking about, you know, we're going to be having some report cards. We're going to be talking about strategy, doctrine, all that kind of fun shit. And yeah, until then, we'll see you with probably 2 sets of games tomorrow.